Hello, hello, hello. How is my wonderful Kathy doing?
Very well.
Awesome. And my wonderful Marjorie. I can't hear you, you're on mute, but I think you're saying you're good.
I'm doing good.
I like your dress. It's like that
Thank you.
70s.
It's from Colombia.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. My sister, my cousin-in-law, she was just down there, I think, last year for her birthday, and she bought one, uh, you know, the dresses you throw on after you get out of the pool.
Nice. Remind me of the 70s.
Yeah, with the flowers all over the place, right?
You're right. I was like I was like 40 in the 70s.
You were what?
Yeah, right.
I was like 40 years old. I just
Oh,
aged very
four.
well.
Oh,
Four.
I could have sworn you said 40.
I thought you said 40.
Yeah, 40. I was 40 years old back then.
You mean four.
Yeah,
Yeah,
four.
I was born in the 30s.
Oh, sure.
Mm.
I've aged well, haven't I?
Uh,
39,
How
like the
funny.
top of the last 30, 39. My
uh,
dad was born in 48, and my mom was born in 56. So, yeah. So in the 70s, he would have been like a teenager. Was he? No, because I was born
No,
in
he should be in
77.
his 30s.
Yeah, he was born in 30. I was born in 77. I was born in the 70s. I wasn't 40 in the 70s.
Damn, seven.
yeah.
Let's see,
So
how old was I? I was 11 years old.
when I was born,
Uh-huh.
you were just a baby. You're
No,
still a
you
little.
were the
Is
baby.
it?
I was
You know, it's funny. I
11.
remember when I started like having consciousness, like around like 84, 83, 84. I was like, I used to understand, like, man, years are long. I started understanding things. And I saw a guy with a t-shirt one time. It said 1979. And I was like, wow, that's a long time ago. I thought I was like way before I was born or something. I was like, that's a long time ago because I knew like the years. I didn't know life in the like I knew the 80s, like 83. I'm like, oh, so a long time ago was 82. Yeah, a long time ago. And so then when I figure out my age, when they told me I'm born in 77, I was like, I thought 75, 9 was so long ago. And I was actually already born.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, the longer your life, the less the years have weight,
Mm,
right?
yeah,
So that's
because usually when
interesting.
you're younger, time is going so slow because you're expecting things. And as you get older, time is flying faster because you're not really expecting anything. Like this year is
Ooh,
going so fast for me right
that's
now.
interesting that you say that because you're expecting that you're always waiting for the first day of school, you're always waiting for your birthday,
Right.
you're always waiting for something. Uh,
Yeah.
and as you get older,
Summer, you
so you
know?
don't wait for anything when you get older?
I don't know. I guess for me, it just doesn't really
It's not as exciting because
like
you already had it.
there were certain things. No, it's not that. I think it's more of the materialism because when school's getting ready to start, that means what? I'm getting new school clothes, right?
Mm,
Birthday, you're getting gifts.
hmm.
Summertime, you're getting summer clothes,
And toys sometimes.
right? And I'm not that materialistic.
Hmm. But I
That's
think
the
most
one
people, a lot
thing
of
I
people still.
noticed.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
That's the one thing that I noticed because I used to be a gadget person, and whatever gadget they had that came out that was electronic, I had to have it. Ever since moving here, it's harder.
Mm,
Just walk into a store here and find the things that you would normally find in the States. You know, you can't walk to a mall,
yeah.
you know? So you learn to separate yourself from always wanting the newest gadget. So commercials don't affect me anymore. In
Because it's like
fact,
another
I
world.
I think it's been a year and a half since I've watched TV, literally,
Oh wow.
because of the commercials that bombard you to buy products, buy this, buy that, new plans, new this, everything's new, you
Mm,
know?
Mhm.
yeah. You know what's interesting about not having access to things? So when I met my first wife and she's tall, she's like my height, tall, you know, she's a little shorter, but when she wears her heels, she's like same height as me or taller. Like, so I'm 6'2". So she's 6 foot without anything, and then 6'1", like, you know, she's really tall. And she's about 170 pounds, you know, which sounds big, but it's for her, it wasn't big. She was very
No,
athletic
not with
and
that
did
height.
sports, muscle. Yeah, yeah. So it was nice. And then she got pregnant and she went to 230 pounds. So she gained 60 pounds, had the baby, and really didn't lose the weight, stayed around 210, you know, 215-ish, whatever, you know, more weight than I had. And so, and it was like for a long time, couldn't lose it, whatever. So, anyways, it was always big. It was like she's big now. And then when I moved to Haiti, and eventually she came to Haiti and lived for like 9 months. And then by the time we were leaving, she was back to 170, like just naturally, like because there wasn't snacks. And she tried all kind of diets, all kind of stuff. And while she was in the States, nothing worked. Or, you know, it was like, you know, I need to lose this weight. It was hard to lose the weight. But then when she came to Haiti to live, and after 9 months, she lost all the weight. And then, so when she was
Says a
lost weight
lot.
again, that's when she's like, okay, I want a divorce.
But it
That's
says a
funny.
lot. It
Yeah, but
says
I
a
think what the
lot.
difference is the chocolate, like there are stuff there, but it's like it's not accessible that easily. Like you can get chocolate and stuff like that, but everybody doesn't have it. You'd have to go to a store to go get it. Like you have to make an effort to go buy some chocolate. And it's more expensive in Haiti than it is in the States because of
Mm-hmm.
the imports and whatever, all the stuff. So we just didn't eat sweets that much. We just didn't have snacks. You just ate your meals. You had your breakfast, you got your lunch, you got your dinner. You got 3 meals a day. That's it. And you drink your
Right.
water. You know, and it's funny because we weren't even poor. It was just like the lifestyle wasn't a lifestyle of snacks all the time. And when you had a
Mm-hmm.
snack, there's so many people around you that were poor that you had to share with everybody. So it's not like you're gonna sit and eat a bag of chips by yourself. That's not gonna happen. There's
Mm-hmm.
everybody here asking, you know, that you have to share with everybody. So candy, everything you're just sharing with everybody. So you're eating less. And I remember just how it like naturally happened. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. And I was like, because it was like almost 2 years after the baby. Yeah, my daughter was going on 3. So I was like, man, what if I created a program where I can help people lose weight by going to teach English in Haiti for 9 months. I go to school, I go to Haiti and be a teacher to teach something, but you're just living normal life. And in 9 months,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna lose the weight little by little. I ran that program by people. Some people thought it was very offensive. Some people thought it was like I don't know if it was offensive to the person or to Haiti or they're like that's offensive to women or to. I'm like it could be anybody, but you guys that are women and know better. I don't have any bad intention. How would that program sound? Like come to Haiti for 9 months and lose weight and do something good at the same time. Like you come and basically volunteer or work for the minimum wage, and then after 9 months you'll go back a new person. Does that sound offensive?
No,
No.
you
No.
probably have a real niche market there. It's not going to resonate with everybody, but I could see you attracting some people like thinking, yes, yes, I want an experience. Like you could sell that
Mm-hmm.
as an experience.
Man, with the weight loss thing, because that's like the experience that what I'm want to promise, what I've seen happen, the transformation, but it happens over time one, you're eating better food. You're not eating processed food. So you're eating better food.
Right.
And there is no hamburgers accessible. Everything is cooked. There's no like, I mean, you can, but you have to go up to the mountain, you know, to the where the rich people stay and get some pizza. And but that's a rare. You don't do that all the time, you know.
That's like
So
a day trip.
yeah, like like a good treat. You know, it's not an
I know
everyday.
because same here. It's the same here
Yeah. So
with
Where
the
are you,
distance.
Marjorie? Marjorie, where are
I'm
you?
in. I'm on the other side of the island, Dominican Republic.
Oh, okay.
okay. All right. So I don't know where everybody is,
Should we
but
put a last call?
yeah, we should put in the chat. Everybody fell asleep. It's Monday. It's a holiday over here. Daniela must have not texted
Woohoo.
everybody.
Oh no, she did. I saw it.
Did
I
she message
saw
you
it.
directly?
She put it on the inspiration.
Yeah.
I saw
It
it.
helps when she messages people directly and builds that relationship.
And directly.
Yeah, that helps too because people are so distracted. I mean, you shouldn't have to. You'd be like, look, you already know there's a time you should show up. But as a leader, you just have to do these things to help it easier for people, or somebody else who's doing it will get them. Another leader that's gonna do it is gonna do it. Even you're like, I shouldn't have to do that. And when we do that, we get 17, 18 people on the call. When we don't do it, we get 4 people, which is nothing wrong with
Well,
that. But so let's get into
well,
our conversation. Go ahead.
I just put a thing out for you. I
Thank
said
you.
it's
I
on live
appreciate
now. Jump on.
it. I appreciate it. Well, I liked our conversation that we were having yesterday. We can have it with 2 people. We can have it with a bunch of people. Because Kathy wasn't here in our conversation yesterday.
Hmm.
So what the conversation was about, the idea of not being mad. I don't know if you saw my message about I went 2 years without being angry. Yeah, that's a true story. And I know that I know I can do it again. I haven't been focused on it, but those 2 years, I was so into my transformation. I was so like enlightened or becoming enlightened. So I know you can lose it. I know you can like get all this feeling and be all powerful and be able to create miracles and do all this stuff. But if you don't practice it, you slowly
Gone.
lose it. Yeah. And I was like, man, I kind of lost it. And I went back to my transformational people. Hey, I need something. I lost it and trying to get it back. But again, it takes practice. It takes practice to do.
Yeah.
So here's the conversation that we had. So to transform, and I want you to round table. So I want you, John, are you there? Can you talk to or no? He probably not.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, all right, you're listening. Okay, cool. So to transform, or when I talk about transformation, I'm really talking about kind of like almost a subconscious programming or an idea or a belief, things that you already have that you don't have to think about anymore. It's already a reaction. You know, like that the coffee is gonna be hot. I don't have to think, is that gonna be hot or not? I automatically think it's gonna be hot. Like so, it's not even I don't even know it's a belief. It's like air or the water, fish. It's always there. So to be able to like look at it there and change it, maybe that's what I call transformation. Not just getting new information, but something that you didn't even consider that could even be a second way. And now you're like, oh, maybe it's another way. Oh, maybe it's something different. You know, that for me is what a transformation is. So we're gonna look at something that we already automatically think is a response, automatically think is normal, like the belief, it's ingrained. And we're gonna look at it differently to see if we can like alter that belief and then maybe see it a different way. You know, knowing it is like half the battle, but practicing it and being aware of it, doing it is like the other part. That makes sense? You know, somebody once said it's better to be smart. It's better to be aware than to be smart. And I never got that a long time ago. I'm like, isn't it the same thing? But it's not, because there's a lot of smart people that are not transformed, not aware. They still have a programming, and the new information just added into that programming that they already have.
Yeah.
but it's not, they're not questioning that belief. They just add new information that matches in with what they already believe. If it doesn't match, they reject it or they debate it, but they're not even questioning themselves.
And may I speak into that, Dan?
Yeah, speak, please.
What I see there is it takes a lot of inner work to sit and say, how do I want to show up? So how do I want to wake up? That's like you talking about anger. Do I want to wake up angry that I'm in this body, in this space, whatever? Or do I want to wake up grateful, excited for another day? I think it's a conscious awareness for transformation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and because like you said, how do I want to wake up? Some people don't even know they have an option. They think that I wake up how I wake up. What do you mean, how do I want to wake up? The fact that you can even think about, I can choose to wake up a different way. I can choose to have different energy. And then you start doing things, but you got to practice it so that you can actually change that automatic program that was already there. It's like, people that are getting that transformation before don't have to think about how they're going to wake up. It's non-thinking. It's like automatic. And then when you have the transformation or when you go into it, you're like, oh, I have an option. That to me is the transformation, that awareness that you have an option. Now you know you have the power. Even when I'm not transformed, I'm aware that I can be. I'm aware that I can do the work to get the transformation. Where some people aren't even aware. They think it is what it is. I am what I am. I can't change it. And they don't even know that they don't have power. You know, they don't even know they're out of power because they don't even have that awareness of being it. So that's the whole beautiful thing about transformation and about this conversation. Okay, so here's what we had said last time. The way to transform negative emotion to positive emotion is basically giving new names, new definition to what the negative emotions are. So for example, anger. So what would you say anger is? Some people will say it's a response to something that's happening, to a bad thing. What do you say, Kathy? What is anger?
I'd say it's a reaction to fear.
A reaction to fear. Okay.
I
John,
was
what do you
here
say?
yesterday, so I
Yeah,
know the answer.
Yes, John, what would you say anger is?
yeah, I think anger is something like impulse, like an impulse, like something responding to stimuli. That's just the way I put it.
Okay, like something that you're responding to. Okay, great. So from now on, and Marjorie, would you say anger is, what would you say anger is?
I was here yesterday, so I know the answer.
Okay, all right. Okay. So from now on, we're gonna say, not that those are not true, what you guys said in response to all that stuff is true, but to be able to have control over it, we're giving a new definition. Anger from now on is a misplaced expectation, your own misplaced expectation. That's all it is. Before the whole reaction, whatever, if you define that, man, I'm feeling angry, oh man, I have a misplaced expectation. Then you can look at yourself and be like, okay, what's that? Even before you get angry, you can sense it coming. You can feel you're getting annoyed. You're annoyed. And you can say, okay, I'm about to be mad if I don't get my way right away. Like if I don't get my way in the next few seconds, I'm about to be mad. And sometimes we even warn our environment, like, y'all about to piss me off. Okay, like I'm about to be mad. Okay, as a reaction to change the world around us. But in reality, if anger is a misplaced expectation, then you can say, okay, what's my expectation? That's what's causing it, not the thing around me. And so, Kathy, if you have a headache, who should take the aspirin, me or you?
Good question, Dan. Yeah, of course. Of course, I've got to take the aspirin if I want any relief.
Huh? What'd you say?
I said I have to take the aspirin if I want any.
You have the headache. All right, cool. John, if you're hungry, who should eat, me or you?
I should
You're
be the
really
one to eat. I.
okay, got it. So if you're angry, who should do the work, me or you?
I.
Because it's if you define it as your expectation. Now, if you're still holding on to the idea that anger is because of my fault or my stuff, then of course you're gonna want me
Yeah.
to change. But the minute you can define it as your own misplaced expectation, then you have power in
Yes.
overcoming that emotion even before it happens, because now it's on you. And now you can say, if I adapt my expectation, it'll be okay. So if you're not getting your way, and it's funny because I didn't say this yesterday, but like the same people that are opening up their lips to say they believe in God are the same people that get upset. Like if it's not going my way, it must be going God's way. So I should be even happier when you're not getting your way. You just had an
Yeah.
expectation that's different than God's plan, and then you should be
Mhm.
happy. There really should be no reason, if you truly believe God is in control of everything and plans a master plan for you and all this great stuff. You know,
Yeah.
even somebody doing harm to you is part of God's plan, and you're like, oh, this is great. What does God have in store for me now? But really, it's your expectation that's causing that. So the way to like avoid anger, to when you see anger coming, when you feel it arising in you, is to just take a pause. Don't attack the situation. Don't go and think. And Marjorie hasn't been angry in a long time, but really just look and say,
Oh, I have to correct that. I was,
"Oh
but I
yeah,
kept silent. See, my anger is different. I am silent.
okay." But you were still
I
angry though.
don't.
You were
I
still upset at least.
Yeah, because I like knowing shit before shit happens. Let me know what the plan is.
So in that case, what was your expectation
My
that was
expectation was,
misplaced?
that
Your misplaced
my morning,
expectation.
my misplaced expectation was that I had my morning to myself.
Okay. You had that morning to yourself, and that was a misplaced expectation
Yeah.
because you don't. All right. So we all have misplaced expectations. Like I have an expectation I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning, but I don't really don't know. Right? Really don't know that because nobody knows the future. So most expectations, all the expectations, all in the future, are a little bit guessing because things happen. But especially after it happens and you're mad about something that happened in the past, you're definitely stuck in a misplaced expectation. And you can just alter that expectation. You can even go back into the past and alter your expectation. Say, okay, I am not expecting this anymore because I see that this is not the reality of my situation. I could have created an expectation that there's going to be 20 people on the call. Or I could create expectation that you guys are going to bring food on the call. And who's crazy? Is it me or is it you guys? Who needs to adapt? I need to adapt my inspiration, even if you lie to me, which is a reasonable and misplaced expectation. But the minute I discover it's a lie, I can adapt my expectation. Okay, I expected that Kathy wouldn't lie in this situation, and she did for whatever reason she has. Let me adapt that she can lie in that situation. And then I move forward into whatever decision I need to make, whatever I need to make, instead of being stuck on the upset and want you to defend yourself. What do you have to say for yourself, young lady? And I'm wanting to go into the fight where it doesn't really matter. What happened is I had an expectation, and I can even express that. I had a misplaced expectation about this, and this is not what happened. I'm gonna adapt my expectation. How can we move forward? Or even if you don't have to talk to anybody, you can just say to yourself, how am I gonna move forward from this? I had a misplaced expectation. I forgive myself, it wasn't my fault, whatever, and let me move forward. But I literally I always thought misplaced expectation. Anytime I was getting annoyed, and I was always able to correct myself and to correct my own expectation and to look at the situation for what it is instead of forcing the world around me to change to my expectation, because everybody else has their own expectation. Usually in a conflict, the other person had another expectation. Either they had an expectation you wouldn't be that upset, they had an expectation that you would understand, they had an expectation that you wouldn't find out. Yeah, they had all these expectations as well. So they're dealing with their own misplaced expectations. And you got two fighting with each other. Boom, 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 boom. Somebody interrupts you because you had your morning. They expected that you'd be happy, but you weren't happy about it. They expected you to be understanding, but you weren't understanding about it. So they are dealing with their own misplaced expectation. And it's okay to actually, when you have a powerful conversation about misplaced expectation, when two people are like, whoa, okay, I saw you expected this and I had told a different expectation without making it wrong. I'm saying that your expectation is weaker than mine. Mine is better than yours. They're both wrong and they're both misplaced. And it's okay. Everybody has misplaced expectation, but that's what caused anger. Is why everybody gets upset because everybody has these expectations that aren't met. And we have to be okay with that and say, mine isn't met, and always deal with it and keep adjusting your expectation to keep fitting reality. Because people that are angry in a way are a little bit insane because you have a misplaced reality, right? So if and it's when I say insane, there's socially accepted levels of insanity, and there's unsocially. Everybody's insane. I would say out there, but it's socially acceptable. That's a socially acceptable level of insanity to expect that your wife will never cheat on you. Okay, then she does. You're like, oh, you know, and for years you're like trying to beat her up. For years you're like mad about it for years, and you still haven't changed your expectation even after you find out. As an example, me, I went through a terrible 2 years in my first divorce, suffering through this whole thing because I couldn't adapt my expectation. I couldn't let it go. I was so hurt. I was so mad. Like this can't happen. This shouldn't happen. Creating rules in my head. This should be illegal. You should be able to sue people when they cheat on their spouses. You should be, all these crazy things. When by the way, welcome Anita. I love it. Anita just jumps right in, starts shaking her head like yes, no. You just jumped in the conversation. I'm like in the middle of the sentence. I'm like halfway done at the sentence when she comes in. She already like said, "Yeah, you're right, Dan." I love it.
Yeah, welcome, Anita.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So anyway, so that's anger. Does anybody have any questions, something they want to say about that part? Kathy.
Well, interesting. I enjoy your take on that because that makes so much sense. It's misplaced expectation. That makes so much sense.
That is all it is. And once we take responsibility for our own misplaced expectations, our predictions that are wrong, then it's okay. Like I'm humble enough to know I can be wrong and I can make bad predictions and I can predict things are gonna happen and they're not happening. People change their minds. And I expected that they wouldn't in that situation. They did. That was misplaced expectation. Knowing human nature, I'm not gonna be mad that it's raining or that it's thing or that somebody changed their mind. They said yes, now they don't want to do it anymore. Now I'm mad at them. That happens. And she's like, okay, well, how do I move forward as the solution? When I was in this state, I was getting results fast on everything. Nothing pissed me off. It seemed like everything was going right. I went on a vacation in Orlando to Disney World, took my daughter to Disney World. I remember coming back from the trip. I was like, man, that trip went so well. Like nothing went wrong. Like everything went right. We checked in the hotel. Like everyone in line, everything was fine. Like we couldn't even think. We're trying to think of, did anything happen? Like nothing negative happened the whole trip. And it was like, that's amazing. That was a great trip. Like everything just went smooth. And maybe because I was already committed that I'm not going to be mad. Like I remember her worried about stuff. I'm like, no matter what happens, I'm going to be fine. I'm not going to be mad. When we got married, went to Jamaica, I was like, no matter what happened, I'm not going to be upset. And so the day of our wedding, it started drizzling a little bit. We were supposed to do it on the beach. And it was like, but we had an option to do it inside. But out on the beach is better. So we the staff was like going back and forth. Like, should we do it inside? Should we do it outside? And I'm cool as a cat. I'm just relaxed. My brother's like, man, when I was getting married, I was so stressed out that everything going right. I'm like, no, I'm cool. And then my wife calls on the phone, like, hey, we're gonna do the wedding this way. I'm like, just let them figure it out. Just stay relaxed. It's just calm down. I'm hanging out with the boys and we're just waiting and we're just hanging out. And I'm just what are you gonna do? It's raining. You can't control anything. Yeah. I said, whatever happens, it's gonna be cool. So they decide, okay, we're gonna do it inside. And then we went and do it inside. And this one after they said let's do it outside, start drizzling again. Like, okay, do it inside. So we go do it inside. Everyone's waiting in the room. Some people are kind of disappointed. Some people are happy. I mean, I'm happy. So that's when I first did my first trial on being a stand-up comedian because I was waiting for the wife. Everyone was waiting, and it was like they were making all the arrangements. I said, "Hey, I always want to be a comedian, so now's my chance." And everybody and I just started like trying to tell jokes with everybody. Now I wasn't that good at it. I realized, man, this takes work because I was just like going on top of my head just trying to make people laugh. But that was an experience. I learned that okay. Because when I was a kid, I wanted to be a comedian at one point, and then my brother told me, "You better cut that out. You flunk out of school because I'm making all my kids laugh." So, anyway, long story short, at the end of it, the aunts and uncles of my wife were like, hey, you guys should complain. They're gonna upgrade you to a bigger room, like a suite. If you complain that you didn't like you weren't happy because you didn't get the wedding that you wanted, and this is at Sandals Resort, you didn't get the handle they wanted, then they'll upgrade you. So I'm like, no, but I'm not mad. I'm like, hey, it's not their fault. It was rainy. Like, when they made a decision, whatever. I'm cool. I'm happy. This is fun. This is fun. Like, yeah, but they can upgrade. Just complain, like act like you're mad. And so my wife comes like, hey, we're gonna complain. I'm like, no, because sometimes I know what that happens when you're at the airport. Like I was at the airport, you act like you're upset, and then you don't get what you wanted, then you really get upset because now you feel like they're not honoring you and you're not respecting you. So now, so I'm like, no, let's not do that. Let's just stay happy. Let's keep the atmosphere good. I just thank everybody. Everything is great. All right, cool. So the staff comes. We're so sorry, Mr. Dan. We're so sorry that your wedding didn't go as you planned. I'm like, it was great. You guys did a good time. I loved it. Thank you so much. I'm giving everybody a hug. They're like, wow, these people are so great. You're like, okay. So because of that, they're like, you know what? We're gonna upgrade you guys to the top suite. I'm like, oh, really? Like, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And he's like, you know what? Because you guys didn't take the pictures we want tomorrow, because it came with the package we paid. They do her makeup. That was part of the package. They do her makeup and her hair, and they already did it. We didn't say, but you know what? Tomorrow we're gonna give you a complimentary makeup and hair again. So we're gonna redo it because tomorrow's gonna be sunny. We're gonna redo the wedding, and you can come and take pictures and stuff. The wedding is already done. We're gonna redo all the stuff on the beach. So you can have, so literally like I have two weddings. Like I have one inside with all the pictures of all bridesmaids, and I had another one where we took all these awesome pictures and stuff like Titanic and all that stuff. And I was like, see what happened when you don't get upset? And that's just an example, like grace and ease, like stuff would just happen in grace and ease. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna get upset. Just adapt my expectation. It's cool. And I'm like, look, all this stuff happening. They gave us this awesome suite. They had two there was like a hot tub on the balcony. And it had it was just, the shower was like one of the best showers we ever had, coming from everywhere. The big room. They brought us cake. They gave us like the best treatment because the staff was so happy that we weren't complaining, that we weren't upset, and they didn't have to defend themselves, because they already came in like defending themselves with all the reasons why it's not our fault. It's like, and I'm like, no, nothing is wrong. Thank you guys. You guys did so great. I'm so happy. It's awesome. They're like, wow, okay, he's so calm. My brother was like, why are you so calm? Why are you so like, I'm like, everything's gonna be good. So there's actually a benefit to always adapting, and people want to be around that. People like that, and they want to show this example. When you don't complain, they just want to get rid of you. So you can't get what you want, but they're giving it to you like and to get rid of you if they're not defending themselves. They don't want no trouble. But when you're that kind of energy, they love you around, they invite you to stuff. So that's just one example of the anger thing. Okay, so I want to move to the second part. Okay, so anger is one thing. Another negative emotion also is loss. Feeling like you lost something. Man, I lost, it could be a family member, it could be a pet, it could be a pencil, it could be a phone, it could be something. You're like, oh my God, I lost it. And I've had that feeling of loss. My sister robbed me. I'm like, oh my God. Had it been in those moments, I wouldn't have experienced that in those 2 years when I was like in a flow. I don't think it would have happened to me at all, because the whole train of thing happened. It started my whole, like, I went through this, like, I would say almost a 5-month cycle of negativity. And it all started with the idea of loss, that I lost something and now I'm trying to recoup something. And recouping that, bam, someone took advantage of me here. Now, man, I'm trying to recoup that. Bam, I got taken advantage. Bam, and then it's like I'm in this cycle of fighting to get stuff back. And that energy was just there, and I was just like losing. And I just kept going in the cycle until I went back to Boston to recover, and my sister robbed me. And then my best friend did that. It's like whatever. And this is only in the community that bad things keep happening to. I'm like, yo, you're in the cycle. And I was in that cycle too. You're in this cycle where it's like you're losing everything and you're fighting to get stuff back. And then that energy is just there. And once you get to that point, if you can eliminate loss from your life, it's awesome. Now, here's how you eliminate loss. You give it a new definition as well. So loss is, okay, we're going to rechange what loss is the misplaced belief that you own something to begin with. Okay, when you're lying to yourself, then you're gonna feel lost. Because in reality, outside of human minds creating stuff, you don't own anything. Scientifically, ownership doesn't exist in the physical world. It exists in human beings writing world, which becomes in the world of the mind. We make agreements, say, I own this, I own that, this is for me. and we write a contract, we make agreements and say, this is for me. But in reality, you can say, you don't own anything. I mean, the Bible says the Lord knows everything belongs to the Lord. And God can give you responsible stewardship over things, over people, children, but you don't own your children. You're responsible for your children at the time. And if God takes it away, he takes it away. So if God gives me responsibility over my phone to manage it, and God takes it away, then again, God removes that. But I didn't technically lose anything if you have that sense. So you're always happy about things that are no longer your responsibility. Not always happy, but you're thankful for when you had them. And when you don't have them, you're also thankful. You're like, okay, it's not here. I'll go to the next thing. You do your best to keep things in your possession or in your responsibility and manage them. But you don't have a sense of loss because you don't really own anything in reality. Even your physical body, Kathy, is not even yours. You don't even own that. It's a loan from the earth. You're loaned it from the earth and you got to give it back interest free. Everything that you have in your body was started with things that your mom was eating when she was pregnant with you, and that formed your body, and you accumulated it over time. And over time, you keep eating, you keep accumulating your body. So it's not yours, it's just borrowed dirt, processed food. Your body's made of this processed food, right? Which comes from the earth.
Yeah.
Once you die, you go back to the earth. You know, so if you even look at me, my body's not mine, then I can't really lose anything. Does that make sense?
You know, Dan, that's interesting because it makes me think of time. How often do we feel like we've lost time, but we don't own time?
Exactly. You don't own time, or you lost a game, or you lost something, you know. So like a question I ask people, Kathy, I'm gonna ask you, if I give you $1 every day for 10 days, how much do you have? Like I give you $1 every day for 10 days. How many dollars do you have?
10.
10. Okay. What if I give you $1 every day for 30 days? How much do you have then?
It's going to be a trick. I know it.
No, it's not a trick.
Okay, $30.
You got $30. Okay. So now on day 31, I don't give you $1. How much do you have?
$30.
Okay. So let's say I do 5 more days. Let's say I do 10 more days. I don't give you anything for 10 days. How much do you have now?
$30.
Exactly. No matter if I stop, you still got the $30 that I gave you. Okay. Did you lose the extra 10 I didn't give you? You didn't lose it because you never had it. The only thing that would get you upset or feeling lost is you had an expectation or false belief that you already owned that you already had it. It's coming to you. Okay, so that's where the false belief comes from. All you can say.
What if you promised it to me?
Then you expected that I would continue, right? That's a misplaced expectation, right? But the minute that you see that I'm not continuing, then you could just say thank you for the 30 that I gave you, right? If I told you, right? That's my lying and your expectation that I was telling the truth, that I would lie. But you can still be happy and say, hey, I'm happy for the $30 that you gave me. Thank you very much. All you really need to say is thank you because you didn't lose anything, right? You already got that. So when I give you my time or this time you're giving me coming on this call, you can't ungive that to me. If you decide to never come on a call anymore, you block my community, get out of it, all I can really say is thank you, right? Adapt my expectation and saying, oh, you're supposed to be on the call. You're supposed to be here. You're supposed to, no, I just got to be thinking. I didn't lose anything. I actually gained a lot because when you think like that, you also think of all the things you gained. When I lose somebody, I think of all the good times I had with this person, all they gave me. I'm like, man, she gave me this, she gave me that, or he gave me this, he gave me that time. We did that vacation, we did this. Man, thank you for that great moment. I really appreciate it. You're really thankful for it. You're like, man, this is awesome. It's almost a celebration for their life. Because at the end of the over, they gave you a wonderful gift of the $30 I've been giving you. And instead of being mad about the 10 I'm not giving you, okay, that doesn't even exist, just be happy for the 30. And you're more likely to get more 10 back if you have that attitude. That's what's crazy about it. If you're saying thank you so much for the 30 and you're not mad, I'm like, man, when I have more money, I'm going to give it back to Kathy again, right? There's a better chance that you're going to get that back. You can
Okay,
get more
you're
of
on,
it.
Dan. You're on.
Yeah. So loss is just that I used to tell people when they came into my house, I say, anything that you see in my house, if you want it, you don't have to ask me, you can have it. Anything? Yep, anything. I said, because I'm void of loss. Like, okay, cool. People think people can take advantage of that. Nobody ever took advantage of nothing. Nobody of my friends ever took anything. They didn't take a TV. They didn't take anything without asking. They didn't take anything at all. But at that point, I could not be a victim of theft because I've given him permission to take whatever he wants. And somebody broke into my car, some neighborhood kid, and the cops came and he broke into other people's car. Do you want to press charges? I said, no. I said, that's a gift. I just adapted my expectation. He took some change, took some stuff. Because you know what? The kid was, maybe he was hungry, maybe he was whatever. I don't know what he was going through. But I'm going to give him that as a gift. Whatever he stole, that's my gift to him. And I felt really good. And the cops were like, you're crazy. My wife was like, you're not going to chew. He might go do it to other people. I'm like, that's on them, right? The cops can do what they want to do. That's their job. It's not my job to do that. My job is to make sure that I keep my emotions away from the sense of loss, sense of anger, and play that game of never feeling lost and never lose anything, because I don't know how much time I have. I don't know how much time was promised to me. I don't know how much time anybody has, right? So if I lose my speech tomorrow, I would just be thankful for all the time that I could speak. You know, if I lose my voice, all the time that I could, you know, and sometimes when I think about that, even like preparing this, like this last couple of weeks, I've been thinking about this. Every time I have a good experience, I'm like, man, this is so awesome. I'm gonna miss this when this is gone, or if this is ever over. Like, man, I can't. I'm so happy I'm able to do this. I'm so happy I'm able to enjoy other people. You know, I'm able to have sex still. You know, because a lot of people can't. There's people that are my age that are not able to. You know, physically they can't. And so I still can. I know there might be a day where I can't, but I'm grateful for now, and I'm appreciating every single time. I think about it every time. It's like, wow, this is great. When I eat some good food, I'm like, man, this is great. And just appreciating that life is a gift and everything in it is a gift. And if you get a gift, you can't lose gifts that you never had, right? I didn't lose anything. You know, Anita, you didn't give me a Christmas birthday present, but I can't be like, oh, you didn't give me a birthday present. You know, I would be insane if I felt the sense of loss because Anita didn't give me a birthday present. Wouldn't that be insane? Right? Wouldn't that be insane? I would be insane. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect my parents to. My mom said for the first time in many years, said, "Hey, we made you a box for Christmas." I'm like, for your birthday. I'm like, really? Yeah, we made you a box. We put some stuff in it for you. We're gonna send it to Colombia. I'm like, wow. Then that really feels like a gift, not like an expectation. And a lot of people, here's the last thing I'm gonna say about loss, cannot feel the sense of a gift and excitement because their expectations are already that they're gonna get it. So when they get it, it's just normal. It's like, okay, I should get it. It doesn't feel like a miracle, like a blessing. They're not experiencing the goodness of it because of their expectations. They have these expectations already there. So even when it's like, if it's misplaced, they're angry. If they get what they want, they're normal. They never get to the point where they're as happy and as joyful and as grateful because their expectations are already so strong there and it's not budging and they can't move it. I mean, the key is to adapt how your expectations and how in your perspective on things. For the anger thing, for the loss, is really the believing that you don't have it in the first place. Okay, so the last thing about, we're gonna give another definition. The thing that makes people sad, okay, is feeling abandoned. Feeling like, man, I'm abandoned. I'm not worthy. I'm not this, all that stuff. Okay, the abandoned, we're gonna have another. It's also another definition. It's also the misplaced belief that you weren't already alone. You were already alone. You're born alone. You're already alone. You're with people, but these people are not going to be here forever. They're spending the time with you. They're giving you a gift. So the expectation that everyone's people going to be with you forever, that's a false belief. And that's what you feel when you feel abandoned. Like, man, these people left me. Like, no, you're already alone. Like, you're already in your own world, in your own journey. I can't take a spiritual journey with Marjorie. I can, Marjorie, come take this journey with me into my heart. Dang, she ran away when I said that. And that's evidence. That's evidence. I can't bring her inside of my heart, inside of my mind to take it. I'm already alone as a spirit, right? So feeling abandoned is the false belief that you weren't already alone. And it's just people saying that you're good on your own. I got you. You're good. You're fine. You'll be fine. They left you. And now you're like, oh no, this is the worst thing. Does that make sense, guys? So anytime that you feel abandoned, you feel angry, you feel lost. Okay, I'm gonna get the fear as well. Okay, it's a false belief that you've had. And the key to doing it is not changing your environment, is to deal with that false belief inside of you. And to say, okay, how can I deal with this false expectation? And start saying, who's in control of my mind? Are they in control of my mind? You know, and a lot of relationships have these problems because, you know, the wife wants a husband sometimes or vice versa to be responsible for their emotions. Like, you're responsible about how I feel. I'm angry, it's your fault. You know, and then the person is like that. Now you're making me feel uncomfortable because now I'm responsible for your feelings that you can just change anytime to control me. So you can't become responsible for other people's feelings. You can be concerned about them, you can be loving toward them, but you can't be responsible, because the minute you can be responsible for their feelings, then they can control you. And you also can't make other people responsible for your feelings, because then you're controlling them. Does that make sense? If you,
Totally.
yeah, if you're holding other people responsible for your feelings, like if you don't do what I want, I'm gonna be upset, and everybody has to live through it. Everyone's gonna be upset. That's controlling, because now I'm altering. I'm attached to a different to an outcome, and I'm controlling their definition, their outcome. If you don't want to be controlled, don't try to control other people. And unfortunately, that's how the world of ordinary functions. Is we use our anger to control other people. We make threats. We say we're going to be angry at people. Like, you have to be angry to people know you're serious. You don't have to be angry for people to know you're serious. You can say, I'm really serious about this. I'm not upset, but I need this to happen. If this doesn't happen, here's what there's an outcome is going to be. This is what the consequences are going to be. This is what the decision I'm going to make. And you can do it in a very calm way. And a lot of times people take it even more seriously. When you're upset, they're just trying to manage your upset. They just think you're crazy sometimes, you know, and they like you're unreasonable. If you're very calm and reasonable, sometimes a lot of times, people will even take you more seriously. That makes sense. So Marjorie just sent me a message that her power went off. And that's why so her power went off, her internet went off too, probably. So last thing. Okay, does anybody have questions in that part so far of how to, you see how you can transform your negative emotions into positive ones? It's all a game. You wake up every morning, you're like, I'm gonna play this game. But you're also watching for the feeling. I used to tell in my house, I say, look, anger is not welcome here. I don't make any decisions while we're angry. So when I see, when my wife was getting upset or angry or trying to control the outcome, I'm like, let's just take a pause. I'm not gonna do anything until we get rid of this anger. Like, we make a promise, we're not gonna be angry with each other. And that's like a promise that we make. So whenever that happens, before I even deal with the issue, I deal with the anger. Okay, let's not get angry. Let's not get upset. Anger is like alcohol. You make bad decisions when you're angry. You make irrational stuff. So always calm. John, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I have a question. Yeah,
Mhm.
for example, you are employer and you have employee. Normally, your employee are not to come work late. But this time around, like you have found the employee that he should stop coming late to work. So there's this particular day when he came late and you correct him in anger that how many times have I told you not to come late to work? Can we call that a misplaced expectation? Like
Yeah, so
correcting anger.
no, correcting, if you have an expectation that you'll never have to correct them, that'll be misplaced and you're correcting them. So if you have an
Mm.
expectation that your employees are always going to be perfect and they're not, that's definitely misplaced expectation. So you can
No,
actually,
like you have corrected him many times, like to stop coming late to work. Y- You
you're
have
breaking up.
corrected you have corrected this employee to stop coming late to work, but this time around, like it has been like some habit. It's like coming late to work, but this time around you corrected him in
Yeah.
anger.
So there's still no room for anger, really. There's still no reason for anger. You just say, have a conversation with them. Said, I had an expectation that you show up on
Okay.
time, that you do your work properly. And I did have an expectation that I would have to correct you a few times, which I have. But I expected that you would learn this faster. And I see that you're not learning faster. For your sake, because this is obviously not the job for you, because my company works better when people are actually doing their job properly and I don't have to correct them so many times. So I'm not mad at you, but it just doesn't work because you're not ready yet. So when you're ready, maybe we can do it, or I'm going to look for somebody else. That was my expectation. Okay, so
That's
I'm not
better.
upset.
That's better.
And at that moment, you have an expectation that you're going to have to go through a few people. Say, you know, I've expected that I have to go through a few employees before I get the right one. And you're just one that I tried, you gave you a chance, and it's not working. And you're not a bad person. I know you showed late, but you have something you need to work on. That's fine. I'm hiring somebody else. We can still be friends. You know, give them a high five. You know, and you
Yeah,
just leave it
that's
like, right,
better. Yeah.
then it's not. They're not going to be upset too. They're not going to feel like you're saying they're not worth it or whatever. Just say for the business, it doesn't work this way. You know, it's like if I'm looking for somebody tall and you're short, you can't be mad at me. I'm like, I'm looking for somebody tall and you're too short. Okay, you know. So I'm looking for somebody who shows up on time every time. Like, oh, I'm gonna do it this time. Like, but I'm showing somebody that can show up on time like every time, and you've been
Okay.
late 3 times. So that was already my
That's
expectation that I was
yeah,
hiring.
that's better. That's
Yeah.
better.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So let me say something. Let me go teach you guys one last thing. So there's only, and we're gonna go back to the upsets or sad or all this stuff, how to deal with it. There's only been 3 reasons why you've ever been mad. So all those reasons that boss would be mad, you're mad at your spouse, you're mad at the government, you're mad at whatever. There's only 3 reasons why you've ever been mad. And if you can deal with these 3 reasons, you can always avoid or manage your upsets. You've been mad either because somebody made you feel unpowerful, like you can't do what you want to do. They said you can't. So you feel powerless. It's like, I can't do that. So you want to do something, but you don't have the power to do it. Then you will be upset if somebody's making you do that. They're questioning your power. It's all in the conversation about being powerless. That's why a lot of people get upset. Is one of the 3 reasons. Okay, so anytime someone tells you you can't do something and you get upset, that's a powerless conversation that's running that upset. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2 reason, if somebody questioned or made you feel unworthy, okay, that means you're not worth it. You're not important. So anything that's around disrespect doesn't mean that you're not powerful. I could not say anything about your power. You can do whatever you want to, but you know, you're a loser. I may give you a name. Okay. That's mean that you're not worthy of respect. You're not important enough. You're not good enough. You know, that's powerlessness. Okay. I mean, that's a worthiness. So a lot of people have issues because either their family makes them feel like they're not special. Somebody doesn't. Most of the excuses for infidelity in relationships is worthiness. Okay, I don't feel worthy. He doesn't respect. He doesn't give me my worth. They don't value me. So all that conversation about your value, your worth, and people spend energy and effort and getting degrees, you're working hard, making money, all because of their worth, all because of their ego. I want to feel special. They go to the club. They want to sit in VIP, all to feel special. They want to prove their worth. And any time that you're trying to prove your worth because you feel that you're not worthy, these are all lies that the ego tells us. That's why we get upset. It's all, even before, all misplaced expectation, misplaced belief. They're all lies. The reason why our negative emotions come up is because of lies that are already pre-programmed. Lies that you're not powerful. So now somebody reminds you of that and you're upset, but you already believed it. That you're not worthy. And then the third one is that you're going to be victimized, that you're in danger. That will upset you if you feel like someone's going to do you something wrong to victimize you, either hurt you physically or emotionally or some way they're going to do something to harm you. Okay, so you're in danger. Those are the 3 reasons. You think of any time you've been upset, it sums up of one of those things. The employer thought that the employee was taking advantage of them. They felt like, man, you're going to make me waste my money or you don't respect me. That's why you're coming late to the job. Okay. They felt some kind of way of that. And that's why like racism and stuff is really, really, it's like all 3 of them together. You're telling the person you can't sit in the front of the bus. That's taking away their power. You're telling them you're not worth this. You're worth half a man. Worthiness. And we're going to use the Ku Klux Klan to terrorize you. Victimhood. You know, and all 3 together, normally just one of them is enough to really cause some problems. But you have all 3 of them together is like a big explosion. But that's why anybody, if you think of the last time you ever got upset, it had to do with one of those 3 reasons. Someone disrespected you, someone put your power in question, or they tried to put your power in question, or you felt victimized. You didn't feel safe, whether it be socially or emotionally. Does that make sense? Does anybody have a reason, a time they got mad? It wasn't for one of those three things. Kevin, when's the last time you got upset? What was it about?
Well, I would probably say um, feeling that I was not valued.
Feel you weren't valued, the worthiness
Oh.
conversation. Man, they're not respecting me. I'm not getting valued. Okay, that's gonna happen. What about you, Kathy? When's the last time you were upset? You're on mute.
Okay, I would say that feeling of unworthiness.
Okay, do you remember what happened?
Yeah, it was an argument with my sister.
Ah, okay. And in that argument, she said some things that made you feel like you're not worth it. You know, somebody else is worth more than you. Somebody else is valued more than you. So your value is in question. A lot of times that happens, you know, but in other places, in other countries, it's a victimhood thing. That's the biggest upset because they feel they're in danger. You're in the hood, it's like, man, I'm in danger. Fear is around that. And so I'm gonna be people are afraid because they think they're gonna be victimized. They think something bad is gonna happen to them. And people invest millions to try to avoid these feelings. But the reality is it's an ingrained belief that they already have in them. Okay. Anybody who's fighting for their rights or fighting for worth is because you feel you're unworthy already. Anybody who's fighting for power is because you believe you're powerless. If you're fighting for your safety because you think you're unsafe. Okay. But in reality, if you come from, I'm a spiritual being living a human experience, a timeless soul has no worry about worthiness, right? They're a timeless soul. You think God is worried about people questioning his power or he's worried about people feeling his worth? He already knows like this worthiness and all that stuff is all made up. I'm going to prove to you how it's all made up. I'm going to prove to you why Kevin is not worth more than me and I'm not worth more than Kevin, okay? Even though he got more degrees than I do, he's better looking than I am. You know,
Yeah.
he's had a lot of great accomplishments. Okay. The reason why, because a brand new baby that's 1 week old, everybody's like, oh, so precious. What a beautiful baby. The baby can't talk. It can't do Zoom calls. All it can do is poop and poop and cry and sleep. And it's worth so much. It's priceless. People will give their lives to save that baby. Okay. So it's not what you do that makes you worth anything. Because how is that baby? Because if I just sit around and just poop and eat them, oh, you're a worthless man. Well, the baby would be worthless too then. But no,
Yeah.
the baby's worth a lot because they're basing their baby's worth maybe on its potential. I don't even think they base on it. It's just so beautiful. Just like, oh, it's a beautiful baby. But everybody has potential. Even a 70-year-old man that's a homeless in the street, he has potential to do great things in the next 20 years. Right?
Yeah.
So you can't say his worth is less than somebody else. I have this confidence that Michael Jordan's not worth more than me. I can speak Spanish. Michael Jordan can't speak Spanish, right? I can walk down the street without security. Michael Jordan can't do that, right? So there's a lot of things he can do that I can't do. There's a lot of things that I can do he can't do. But it's all based on what the value we put on something else. It's all movable. There's no actual worthiness in the physical sense in reality. And once you come to that, the lie that people are telling you what's worthy, what's not worthy, what's important. So I say, I don't put anybody above me. I don't put anybody below me. And that's humility, really, is that nobody is above me. I'm not above anybody else. Everybody's worth is based on what you assume and what you value in your own life.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, man, we're kind of out of time. I got 2 minutes. Let me sum this up where I'm going with this. Okay. So it's powerfulness, worthiness, right? And feeling that you're in some kind of danger. That's what lies. These are the 3 lies that you tell yourself that make you upset. The lies that the ego tell you. Oh, they don't think you're worthy. They don't respect you, and I'm gonna fight for my right. I'm going to show that I'm worthy. I went and worked hard so I can prove to everybody that I'm worthy. That doesn't work, you know? It just does damage to the body because it's based on a lie. The lie is I'm worth just as worth as a brand new baby. Nobody can add an ounce to me. Just because you're giving me attention, Daniel or Daniela, doesn't mean you adding any value to me. And just because you're not giving me attention doesn't mean you take any value away from me. In your mind, you are, but in my reality, no. I'm still here. I'm still myself. Nobody can add value to me. Like, I'm not value. Worthiness to me. Nobody can add worthiness to me, and nobody can take away from me. Now, value, I get in the sense of like business. People can add value to you because now you have stuff to offer. But as far as my worthiness as a human being, nobody can take that away from me. Once I know that, I'm not gonna get upset when somebody tries to. I'm almost gonna smile at them, be like, "Oh, he's stuck in his own worthiness. He thinks that he's worthy. Him treating me bad, it makes him more important." And I could be like, "Oh, I'm gonna get like 1 minute longer, guys. I'm sorry, like 1 minute longer. I know Kathy, you gotta go. Give me one more minute. If you have to go, you have to understand. But I want to just finish this. Is that when somebody's saying, "I'm better than you. I got these degrees. I got this," whatever they're saying, I'm better. They're trying to put me down. I just smile and be like, you know what? You're worthy, because they're just questioning their own worth is in question.
Yeah.
They're fighting for their worth. They're fighting for their value. So just give it to them. Just remind them that you are valuable. Be like, all that you said doesn't take anything away from you. Doesn't add anything.
Yeah.
You're already worth everything, man. And once you say that to the person, even somebody insulting you, we say, "You're a piece of crap." You'd be like, you're worth a lot, man. Like, you're already worth it. You're worthy, my man. You're awesome. They're gonna be
That
like,
makes-
huh? Right? And it's not even to throw them off. It's really, you're honestly saying your worth is not in question, because they're attacking your worth because theirs are in question. So now they're gonna try to put yours down because they feel like, oh, my worth is in question. No, I'm better than you. And they start pointing all the negative things about you and say all these negative things don't take anything from my worth. And all the good things you said doesn't add anything. We're both human beings and you're worth just as much as I am. I promise you. And then they can't fight against that, like, okay. So then you take the conversation out of the worthiness conversation to bring it into something else. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So when you feel worthy, whoever's trying to make you feel worthy is probably feeling the same thing. That's why they're doing that. And your reaction is to go back at them. Don't do that, because you're going to go in that negative emotion. Just go into reality. Take a minute, pause, say, okay, I'm feeling unworthy. I'm feeling attacking my worthiness. Okay, I know I'm worthy already. I know they are as well. Someone fighting for power, playing tricks, playing games. Say, hey, listen, you can do whatever you want. Okay, you have the power to do something. Anytime someone says you can't do something from kindergarten, you can't sit in the front, you can't talk without raising your hand. That's a lie that teachers tell us. You can talk without raising your hands. They don't want you to because they want to have control over the class. But if you couldn't do it, they wouldn't tell you can't do it. Anytime someone tells you can't do something, is because you can do it. But that doesn't mean you should, but it means you can. Okay, they say you can't drive on the left side of the road, right? The cops say, you can't drive on the left side of the road. Yes, I can. Because if I couldn't, you wouldn't even tell me not to. I've never heard somebody tell a dog, you can't read. They don't have to make laws against that because they really can. They never tell me, you can't fly like Superman. There's no law that say I can't fly. Now, if people start flying, they're going to make laws about it. They're going to tell you can't. So all the laws are based on what you can do in reality. So we get upset when our spouse, our parents, our friends are telling us what you can't do. You can't smoke. Yeah, you can. Now you choose not to. That's more powerful. I'm choosing not to smoke, but I can. You can't do this, you can't do that. You can do it. So just knowing that I'm powerful, I can do that. So when you're having a power struggle with somebody, just give them their power.
Gotta go. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
It's been great. Thanks.
Yes. All right. I'm gonna talk a little bit. Since this is recorded, I'm gonna talk a little bit longer. Or does anybody want to say anything? Kevin, you want to say anything?
What I was saying is it's reverse psychology is what you're doing to the other person when they're trying to put you down and you're building them up.
Yeah, but it's not in a bad way though. It's really like, and the truth. It's really like, Jesus talks about that. The least of us are worthy. They're the most worthy in the kingdom of heaven. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's everybody's sons of God. We're all valued. God doesn't have all this stuff. I love that story where the rich man said, I want to follow you. He said, all right, sell everything you got and give it to the poor. Damn.
He
What?
said no.
He said, sell everything you got, give it to the poor. You know, he's like, oh my goodness. He's like, I can't do that. His worthiness is based on his riches, not on his being a spiritual being, living this human experience. And the funny thing about it, if he could do that, he wouldn't have to do that. Like if he was somebody that was going to do that, Jesus would say, you don't have to do that. Because if it was for Jesus, it wasn't about the riches. It's his ability to be able to detach from it, from his worthiness based on his riches. That you are all like, you are worth everything without your money. You know, and that's the whole beautiful part about it. The guy that could do that, the guy that's already like that, like I'm ready to do that, I can do that if I need to. Not that you should, right? But having the internal ability that your worthiness is already in check. Like I know that, like now I'm at a point I know that my worthiness is not based on how much money I have, because I've lost it all, and I came back. I'm like, okay, so it's not the money. Okay, it's the destiny that God gave me, it's the vision that God gave me. And you base my worthiness on that, and not on everything. Then everybody's worthy because God can give everybody a plan. I'm not gonna put anybody down. Somebody might be part of my plan to help him with mine. Like everybody has their part they're playing in life and whatever they're doing. And I don't ever put anybody above me. I don't put anybody below me. Because there's nobody in the world that does everything better than me. That's impossible. Yeah. Definitely there's nobody in the world that leads these DreamWorks Zoom calls better than me. They might lead other Zoom calls better than me. But nobody leads this community better than I do. That's a fact. Nobody in the world. I'm the greatest in the world at these inspiration calls, right? Even with 4 people, I'm the best in the world. So who's gonna tell me that my inspiration call is not worth another call because they have more people? Nobody can tell me that. How can you prove what's more important? You can't. So it's you too, Anita. There's something that you do that's worth more than anybody in the world. Okay, Kevin, nobody can be a better dad to your kids than you. Nobody has been, nobody ever will be. That's impossible. You're the greatest in the world in human history to those kids. I can't be better than you there. I could try, but I can't. I can have more money. I can give them more stuff. There can be something missing. And most people don't even have the opportunity to do it. All right. But even if they had the opportunity, nobody can replace you. You're the best in the world. As of now, you're the best in the world at that. Who can say that raising your kids is less important than what I'm doing? Nobody can tell you that. So how can I put a worth and say what I'm doing is worth valuable? How can I be worth more when you're doing the greatest thing in the world already? I'm also doing the greatest thing in the world already. You see what I'm saying? So it's all based on these lies about what's more important. Making $1 million more important, making 100,000. Speaking in 50 places more important than one. Having 200 people in my community is more important than this. It's all, I might make a bigger difference for 100 people than I can for 1,000. It doesn't matter. I can make a big difference for one person than I can for a bunch of people. My whole community might be based on just helping one person change the world. That one person. John might be the guy that this whole community, God made me create this whole thing. All John can make a difference for John because John's going to help 1 million people. And there's something I'm going to say that John's going to, and all this stuff, all you guys, Anita, Kevin, Daniela, you guys are all here just to help me prepare for that one thing I'm going to tell John. And then John's going to use that one thing to change the world. But I had to prepare. I had to practice on Anita. I had to practice on Kevin. I had to practice on Daniela. I don't know, right? I did all this stuff for that. So I cannot, in logical sense, in all my humility, pretend that somebody else is more worthy than me or that I'm not as worthy as somebody else. That's a lie. That's 100% a lie. So it's not reverse psychology. But when you see somebody else stuck in that lie, you can help them by saying, you know what? You could bring this message to them. You say, you are worthy. You don't have to fight for your worth, my man. You don't have to fight to not be victimized, my man. You don't have to fight to be powerful. You're already powerful. I promise you can do anything you want to do, and I'll support you in whatever you want to do. Once you have that conversation, like John, you were saying, I'm gonna let you talk, John. I know you've been humming a little bit. I'm gonna let you talk. But whenever, like that employee example you gave me, you got an employee that's coming late, that's not doing their stuff, and you talk instead of saying you can't do this, you can't do that, which is a lie. They can because they're actually doing it, right? You say, my man, you're super powerful and you can do whatever you want to. It just doesn't work for me in my business right now. I'm not mad at you. And you might be able to find another boss that's going to be cool with that. You might find a job where you can show up at 10 instead of 8. and that'll work fine for you. And I'm gonna support you in finding that job. But it's not here. I don't want you to put in a situation where you're getting upset because you are all powerful. You can create that job. If you have a job, you want people to show up at 8, they're showing up at 8:30. Every day they're showing up at 8:30. Until telling them they can't, as you told them, you try to correct them, you do everything. Give them their power. Their power is to show up at 10:30. It just can't work for you in your business. But there's 100 other businesses, and you gotta open their eyes and be like, look, if 8:30 works better for you, I'm sure there's companies that are fine with you showing up late or showing up at 8:30 or even 9 or 10. And I've done that with my employees. I'm like, okay, you're showing up late. You want to start at 10:30 and finish 30 minutes later? Let me make that adjustment. You want to do that? And they're like, yeah, that works better for me. Okay, problem done. I didn't have to get mad at forcing them to do something and taking their power away. I could just work with their power and be like, okay, let's start at 10:30. It works for me. And you just finish at 6:30 instead. Okay, that works. Okay, cool. Now they're in power. I don't have to be mad. You know? Does that make sense, John?
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. So
And I like the fact that, for example, what is saying now, nobody's above you, nobody's below you. Like I've been practically like since time I've known you, like
we can't hear you very well.
yeah, I said like since I've known you, like what you just said now that no one is above you, no one is below you, like everyone is worthy.
Can you guys hear?
Can you hear me now?
Write it in the chat. Text it in the chat.
All right.
We can't hear you very well. All right.
Okay.
So once you finish writing, anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up. I don't know if anybody wants to say something, but that's how to turn negative emotions into positive ones. You got to stay in that conversation. The first conversation about what anger means, what loss means, what abandonment means, the new definitions that we gave it. Kevin, you kind of missed it, but those conversations, you just know them and you talk to other people about them. You enroll other people in them. You see somebody angry and you just come to them with compassion and love. If they're stuck in this lie, they're stuck in this expectation. You be like, oh, you know what, my man, I feel you. I feel your anger. Anger is just misplaced expectation. That person has an expectation that's eating him up. He's beating his own expectation, whooping his butt. That's all he is. Not the other person. It's your expectation. So you just come with compassion. Even when someone's angry at you, you don't have to get mad at them. You just calm and say, I get you have this expectation and it wasn't met and it was misplaced because I never made that promise. And I guess you thought I did. And I get that, I get that. I have compassion for you because I get upset too. My expectations aren't met. But it's really just like, there's a way, if you talk in this way with love and compassion, without getting mad yourself, somebody stabs you and tries to rob you, you'd be like, I know you stabbed me because you're trying to get some money, right? Your expectation was that if you stabbed me, it would be easier. But no, I'm just joking. But you can literally, and that's the whole thing about being a peaceful warrior, is that you can have peace in your heart and still be a warrior. You can be a peaceful warrior. You can still handle business. You can still do good things and be a warrior. But anyways, it's 12. It's 7:12. I'm gonna let you guys, if everybody wants to say the last thing, I'm gonna end the call. Anybody want to say anything to what we're saying in the conversation? I would love to get your guys' feedback or input. Or how can you implement this in your life? Anybody?
Sure, I'll talk on that. When we think of value is a human construct. And so each individual places what they value on whatever it is. And when you adopt somebody else's value for anything in your life, then you're automatically setting yourself up for failure and to be hurt.
Yes.
You choose your own value for whatever you want. And then when you choose that value, you stick to it and don't compare it to what somebody else is valuing.
Correct. And respect the other person's value. Respect that's their value, but I have my own and so I'm comfortable with that. I love what you said in the chat, John. You said, why you get upset, lies that you can't, you're unworthy, and you're in danger. And whenever you believe in those lies, you're going to go fight for being worthy. And people are not going to respect you, and you're going to fight for respect. And you're going to say, I'm not going to respect you back. And then you get into that whole thing. And so thank you for totally understanding. And thank you, Jari said I'm an example for no one is above me. Thank you a lot for that. I appreciate that. And all right, well, thank you for guys staying a little bit longer than I didn't planned. I love you guys. I love these conversations. They make me a better person when I have these conversations. All right, so I love you guys, and we'll see you guys on the next call.
Thank you.
All right.
Have-
Have a good
All
one.
right.